Hello and welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady and principal owner of Everett Tax Solutions, where we help you win the tax game. The Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. All right. So I want to talk about this whole funding for the IRS. They're getting $80 billion and hiring 87,000 new agents. And I want to talk about this because there's so much disinformation, misinformation that's going around about this, and it's really driving me absolutely insane. Okay, so let's talk about it. So first of all, the $80 billion. The IRS has been underfunded for years. Okay, so as far as the amount of money that they're getting, they really do need this money. And they're not getting $80 billion all at once. It's over the next 10 years. And even with this hiring of 87,000 new agents, people think that suddenly a whole army. I saw this one meme that shows like the first order from Star Wars lining up as, IRS agents. Oh my gosh, this could not be further from the truth. It is all the fear mongering that really drives me nuts. But anyway, so are they going to hire 87,000 new people? Absolutely, because the IRS is dealing with attrition just like anybody else. They have people that are retiring. They had to deal with the Great Resignation too. There are people, once COVID hit, they said, you know what? I'm going to take my retirement and I'm going to roll out. And then when it was time for the IRS to come back to the office, there are some people that said, you know what? I'm going to roll out. So the IRS is still dealing with the same hiring problems as everybody else is. One of the things that Commissioner Reddick said while he was at the NAEA conference in Las Vegas, he said it's really hard for the IRS to hire when Target is paying $20 an hour. And it struck me because I was thinking to myself, dude, you're competing with Target, but whatever, right? Now, when it comes down to it, if I got the government that I got to go through all of these hoops for in Target, that you just go to work, I don't know. It's kind of a toss up as to which one I would do. But it's just to really share with you like the type of struggles that the IRS is having in hiring people. So these whole 87,000 new agents aren't going to show up today, right? This is still going to take some time. So even though they have this funding, which they, are going to receive over the next 10 years, it's still going to take time to get the funding. It's going to take time to hire the people. It's going to take time to train the people. The other thing that I thought was hilarious is when they were talking about hiring all these 87,000 agents and they're all going to be armed. Ooh. Okay, so the IRS has a criminal investigative division. They have always been armed, okay, because they're actually going to deal with criminals, okay? So not every IRS agent is walking around with a 9 on their hip ready to draw at any given second. No, this is specific for the Criminal Investigative Division. This is not anything new. This has always been because they work with the other alphabet squad, the ATF and all of that. All of these agencies work together. So that part of the IRS Criminal Investigative Division that works with the Alphabet Squad, yes, they are armed. That has always been. This is nothing new. The next thing that it talked about that I'm seeing on these streets is talking about more audits. Well, that's not a surprise. And here's why. So the Treasurer Inspector General report from 2020, it's their headline was high income non-filers owing billions are not being worked by the Internal Revenue Service. So guess who they're going to go looking for now? Okay. And then there was another headline in December of 2020 from TICTA that says billions in potential taxes went unaddressed from unfiled returns and underreported income by taxpayers that received the Form 1099-K. Okay. Now, I actually shot a video about that because I said then that they're probably going to change the threshold for the 1099-K, and they're going to be looking at people who are underreporting their income. Well, they definitely changed the 1099-K amount. They've lowered that to $600. And the initial reaction was, now we have to report this income. It was always the law to report your income. It was the third party reporting requirement that changed. So the people that were basically not reporting their income, now you got to do it. And so people were upset about that. But the law is that you report all your income. So when it comes down to more audits, they were already planning to increase audits. Again, this is not new. And because they had their specific targets. Now, along with those audits, can we talk about the PPP scammers for just one moment? Most PPP scams came in the form of the Schedule C, because the cry is, all of these audits are going to come for people earning less than $200,000 or whatever. Okay, so for the PPP scammers, when you filed that Schedule C with the bank and you got your PPP funds, how much did you claim that you made? You claimed that you made $100,000, which is right in line with that $200,000 or under. So yeah, I will expect that there will be more audits. And when it comes down to the Schedule C, there is so much fraud, period, even without the PPP scams, that yes, Schedule Cs are highly audited because that's where most people commit the fraud. I follow the Department of Justice. If you follow me for a while, you know I'm a geek like that. But I see tax professionals getting hemmed up all the time, whether they're going to prison or they're getting put on probation, or they're getting just barred from preparing taxes, period. That what did they do? They filed Schedule Cs for clients showing a loss for the taxpayer to get more of a refund. Okay, so that's just the way it is, unfortunately, but that's what it is. So so let's talk about that with the enforcement piece. Now, out of that $80 billion, about 46 billion is going to enforcement. Again, they're looking for the scammers and the fraudsters that are claiming income or filing false Schedule Cs. So PPP loans, you fall into that category. And it's because this is taxpayer money. So whether you like it or not, they're going to go and get their money. And the prosecutions are going to be going. And people flipped out when they extended the time to prosecute PPP loan fraud and EIDL loan fraud to 10 years. People lost their minds. But you know what? They're going to be busy for quite a while, because people were promoting PPP loans like they were, what you call those things? Like they were MLMs. So it takes time to do those things. It takes money to prosecute these things, and they're not just going to let that go. So, so understand that the enforcement piece is making sure that they're recovering stolen funds, that they are prosecuting people, so that takes attorneys and whatnot. So yeah, they're going to be dealing with that. They are still processing the backlog. What I found interesting, again, from Commissioner Reddick, is that, he told us, he said, hey, we're dealing with the same thing you're dealing with in your offices. So in my office, for instance, when at the beginning of the season, I sent a message out to my clients that said, look, we're either going to answer phones or process returns. We're not going to be able to do both. So we can't take unscheduled calls. And so Commissioner Reddick said, hey, we pretty much had to do the same thing. We either had to have people on the phones or people processing backlogs. So they pulled people off the phone. So if you're wondering why you can't get somebody on the phone, that's why, because they were pulled off the phones in order to process the backlog. And there's still a backlog. Okay. Now, along with this backlog, though, let me tell you, if you have not heard, if you have not filed your 2019 or 2020 tax returns, you have until September 30th to file for the IRS to automatically remove the failure to file penalty, which is huge because the failure to file penalty is 10 times more expensive than the failure to pay penalty. If if you owe tax on your 2019 and 2020, having that failure to file penalty removed is huge, but you only have until September 30th to do it. Can you file your 2019 and 2020 tax returns after that? Yes, but you won't get the penalties removed, okay? And so the goal here from Commissioner Reddick's standpoint is to get all this stuff in so they can get it processed and then they can move forward with the upcoming tax year, okay? So yeah, I just want to tell you to cool your jets on the whole, the IRS army is coming. This is not going to happen tomorrow. It's probably not even going to happen this year. They're looking at standing up new call centers. Call centers take time to be built if they can't find a building to house these call centers, right? And so even if they find a building, they're still going to have to renovate and all of that stuff. So that's what I'm saying. All that stuff, it takes time. So you're not going to see just this instant, influx of people. That part is just not going to happen, okay? So I hope that really shed some light into what's going on. And listen, I tell my clients, if you prepare your return like you knew the IRS was going to show up tomorrow, it doesn't matter if they hire 87,000 agents. It doesn't matter if they hire 87 million agents. You are ready to deal with the IRS if they show up. Listen, we can never tell you that you won't get audited. We can only tell you how to be prepared if you do. Okay? So yeah, relax. Just because the IRS got this funding doesn't mean that there's suddenly going to be just this whole, like I said, this whole influx of people showing up, looking in your purse and all that stuff like people are saying on the internet. That's just simply not true. The government doesn't move that fast. That's just what it is. Okay. So again, I hope this sheds some insight on what's happening with the IRS and the IRS funding. And if it's something that you're concerned about, I'm just going to tell you to relax and just, file your stuff like you're supposed to do is all. Okay. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Bye.